For more analysis, we now move to our colleague Riham Morsi in our newsroom. To you, Riham.
Thank you so much, Mona. For further analysis, we're joined from Cairo by Al-Ahram Managing Editor Mohammed Azzuddin. Thank you, sir, for joining us here on Qnews. Let's start off by asking you, could the second phase of the negotiations of the Gaza agreement begin soon?
Qnews, unfortunately, the situation now is not is unclear. With everything that's going on over the past few days shows that Israel still wants to keep stalling implementing the second phase of the agreement, even though the US president has released statements that phase 2 doesn't have a specific time and could begin at any time according to the situation on ground. But what we are seeing from the occupation forces and broadening their targets and keeping up with the violations of the first phase of the agreement, and also trying to intervene and hinder the international authorities help with aid delivery and so on, and also intervening with the security forces that will be in the Gaza Strip. This shows that things won't be that easy to start the second phase. Unfortunately, Israel is still trying to hinder and stall aid delivery on a large scale, and even the equipment that they need to remove the rubble, for example, and also all the tents and blankets and so on. And so this means that the humanitarian situation there isn't the best that it could be, as it was supposed to be according to the Sharm el-Sheikh agreement, especially that this is all not justified, and there is an unjustified hindrance with starting the second phase. They are even trying to intervene with the forces that will govern the Gaza Strip, and so far we cannot say that there are effective measures, especially from the Israeli side. But on the contrary, Egypt and the international organizations, Qatar, and also the rest of the mediators and supporters of the Sharm el-Sheikh agreement, like Turkey, for example, and the European Union want to they want to start the second phase. We've seen statements from them saying that we need to start the second phase, which is the most crucial and main phase here, and things cannot stay in this dead end. We have some kind also of the U.S. government isn't doing its best with pressuring Israel to start the second phase.
As you said there, sir, that the Israelis are stalling towards trying to create the second phase. Now, Hamas has announced that they've completed the first phase of the Gaza agreement. What's your take there? How will things move forward, given that there is a completion, according to Hamas, of the first phase of this agreement?
If we wanna talk practically, I wouldn't use the resistance statement, but I will actually refer to the actual situation on ground. Any civilians, we had an agreement that had point about the Israeli forces, the occupation forces, withdrawing from the land that they have talked about. They need to withdraw from the yellow line and give them back about 30% of the land that they have taken over. But things aren't going according to this. There are targeted attacks, and there is a plan to attack the resistance officials and some factions in the Gaza Strip, as if nothing has changed. But actually what is stopped is the full-on war. But there are targets and strikes, and even though they have said they they agreed on withdrawing, but actually they want to manipulate Trump's peace plan and
Yes,
keep its
which
forces
kind of brings on the next point here, sir. How long do you think that Netanyahu can evade implementing the second phase of the agreement? Let me repeat my question for you, sir. How long do you think Netanyahu can evade implementing the second phase of this agreement?
Of course, Netanyahu now has his hands full with with his trial that's going on, and there is a dark future for Netanyahu that's waiting for him on the political track, and so he thinks that keeping his position at the government and wanting to go in the next elections, even if they are early, and having a political pardon will allow him to stay. It will allow him to stay and complete all and achieve all his goals and the far right government goals. And so, yes, here there is double difficulty, because even if Netanyahu will be given up for the benefit of the far right government, but it seems like the far right officials will take over the next Israeli government, and so Israel implementing the points when it comes to the Sharm el-Sheikh agreement is complicated, and the U.S. has actually a more important role here. They need to put international pressure on them. Israel has actually manipulated and tricked the international community. That they said that they agree on the agreement. They took back their detainees, and then they are now starting the second phase. And everyone needs to be aware of this, especially the U.S. that has brokered the Sharm el-Sheikh agreement and have put the Trump peace plan. So we need pressure from the U.S. government and the international community, and of course Egypt is always making sure that they can send humanitarian aid.
Okay, from Cairo, that was Mohammed Izzeddin, Al-Ahram managing editor. Thank you for joining us